Coming up on this week's show, it's back to basics as our celebs get a crash course in driving positions. They park for charity.
I can't see.
Don't worry, come. Good, come.
Literally touch the curb. That's it. Now be sure. Outside curb, inside curb, outside curb. Just remember that. Brilliant. Out. Off you go.
Remember, I need you here for my left.
Keep going.
We find out if the driver training helped as Julia Stuart and Elma Smit hit the racetrack for their hot laps. You're watching Speed Stars. Hello and welcome to this week's show. Now, if you missed last week's episode, my goodness, we had a cracker season opener. What we did is we took some of the speediest stars from season 1 and 2 and gave them an opportunity to fight it out for 2 wildcard slots and a chance to get their names up on the Speed Stars leaderboard for season 3. We also did a nationwide search and 2 public got to take on the stars. And who knows, maybe go all the way to win Speed Stars Season 3. So as the board looks at the moment, Rob Forbes, a cracker time, 5 seconds quicker than Jason Goliath. And because this is TV, our 2 public contestants, their times will be revealed at the end of the season. So time now to meet our first guest pairing for the new season of Speed Stars. And these 2 ladies know a thing or two about being competitive. With a background in the performing arts, the transition from stage to television wasn't a big leap for Supersport presenter Julia Stuart. A standout in the male-dominated world of football, will she exude the same confidence behind the wheel?
It's the fastest I've ever driven by myself.
Also comfortable tackling the guys at their own game, Supersport presenter Elma Smit left law behind for a life on radio and television. But will she be a pushover on the racetrack?
Woo! That was so much fun. I'd like to do it again. I can't believe I have to stop now.
This is a show that I'm really looking forward to because what I have are 2 guests that I guess would be the perfect girlfriends or wives. 2 beautiful girls that love sport. I mean, is that a reality? Do guys just want to kind of date you, marry you because they can sit on the couch and talk sport?
You should ask Alma because someone's put a ring on there. So.
Yeah, but I mean, when Richard and I met, I was a student and he was as well, and neither of us were working at Supersport yet. So it's just kind of happened by accident.
And now you both are. I mean, he's the golf guy,
He's
you the
golf
rugby guy.
Yeah,
Girl.
guy.
You know what I mean?
It's fine. People call me guy all the
Guy
time.
now.
I think for me it's a little bit difficult because you have to find that guy who's the perfect amount of secure, because you are getting to hang out on Speed Stars with Ryan Kankowski and Julia Stuart and Justin Verdonk. So it's difficult.
Some insecurity issues.
They almost need to be a media agnostic and the sport agnostic, or they need to be on the other end of the spectrum and be so into your passion.
Yeah.
Because you won a search. I mean, there was a big move
Reality
for sport in South Africa to kind of beautify, but still to put girls on that know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Search for you.
Yeah, Julia could have had my job. She's worked in sport for a long time. She's probably more qualified, strictly speaking, because she came from a print background. Whereas I come from a classic broadcast background. I worked in campus radio, I worked for MCAR, I worked for CakeNet. So by the time the opportunity to join Supersport came along, initially I wasn't interested because I didn't want to go out there and make a boo-boo on this reality show when I'm already working in TV. I had a look at it and I realized they weren't looking for a new Nas Botha. They were looking for someone to make the sport accessible. And that I really related to.
I suppose it's also, I mean, you're appealing to a totally different market because, I mean, gone are the days where sport is strictly male-watched and supported. So there is that side of it, but there is a certain amount of pressure, Julia, because you are talking to a predominantly male audience and they put you under pressure because what does a girl know?
You find people who actually watch you and who will come up to you and say, I really admire your knowledge. And the best part for me is when they say, you got my wife or my girlfriend or my side chick interested in sport. Because that's great, because I feel like sport is so important. It's so important. It's such a nation builder.
Yeah.
I mean, Nelson Mandela understood that more than anyone, that if it can bring people together, even if you're not that passionate, I mean, we have to be in depth, but if it can bring people together, that's amazing. But then I might stand at a bar and ask them to put on the Bafana game. This happened to me 2 Fridays ago, and a guy will say, oh, so you're dating a soccer player? No.
You're like, oh, dude.
It's my job.
But how much research goes into it? Because in a way, you can probably get away with it a lot more as a guy, I imagine. I mean,
Well, you know, when Nick or Nas or one of the guys gets a name wrong or someone's position's wrong, it's because they just made a mistake, an honest mistake.
What do you know?
Whereas when you do it, it's that confirmation bias that kicks in that goes, oh, but girls don't know these things.
Yeah.
So you do have to be twice as prepared. But I think that's something that women in many fields experience.
Yeah.
You know, female engineers, women who are pilots. So I don't think it's unique to us.
Twice as hard, you have to work twice as hard,
Yeah.
hard to be half as good.
You had an interesting background, though, because you were sporty in a different way, from performing arts perspective with your dancing. Something you miss? Or is your dancing now at home, alone, you know, no one's watching?
In the clubs of Johannesburg, Cape Town, St. Kimberley. So I played football. I was very sporty. Athletics. My dad used to be a runner. Played football at school. I was rubbish at it. And dancing was just, I had to choose between football or dancing at school, and I chose dancing.
Obvious choice, wouldn't it have been?
And we did performing arts, Grahamstown Festival. You know, I traveled because of it overseas. It was just, that's what I thought my life was going to be. But in the meanwhile, I also got bit by this football bug. When I studied at university, I knew I had to get something with a little bit more credibility, perhaps in my mom's words, to it. So I went into film and media. And from then on, the 2010 World Cup was coming, and I just thought, you got to go for this girl.
Highlight, standout moment in your career, and is TV as wonderful and glamorous as everyone thinks it is?
It's not wonderful and glamorous, and I always tell people, if you want to work in TV, start in radio. It's very important to learn to formulate thoughts and understand how to tell stories before you start being flustered by the lights and the glamour, which there isn't much of. The highlight and the lowlight came at the same tournament, the Rugby World Cup in 2015. I was there when the Battle of Brighton happened and we lost to Japan, and I had to interview fans, and the highlight was the final because of the way the All Blacks performed, because of the way Twickenham hosted, you know, that event. It was a real honour.
Well, it's a real honour having you guys on the show. You are going to be under a lot of pressure and under lights to perform. But before we get you to perform, we want to make sure you can do that safely. So let's have a look at this week's safety lesson. Look familiar? The classic SA driving position, the gangster. At full stretch, hands can hardly reach up to the top of the steering wheel, and usually the driver struggles to even see over the wheel. Also common, the granny, sitting so close to the wheel that you can steer with your chin, and airbag deployment could very well be fatal. So we thought we'd check if our celebs had the basics right.
I would say pause. 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 Fail.
Oh, don't feel bad, Julia. We are here to learn.
I let my whole team down now.
Will there be any bad apples in our next group?
Pause.
Well done.
Fine. I call that a foul. You need to go closer.
Yeah.
I call that a pass.
I think this is perfect, yeah.
Pass or foul? I call that a pass.
So how does incorrect driving positions actually affect your ability to control the car?
That's still horrible.
It's got to be horrible.
It's time for our celebs to go gangster on our Gymkhana course.
Yes, it's difficult, eh? It's like far.
What you can't see is how our guests are literally hanging on the wheel, their backs unsupported.
Yeah, terrible.
It's pretty close.
Oh, hey, my grandma. If she had a car.
That's exactly right, Joey, and a real challenge for Ryan. Whether sitting too close or too far, it is impossible to have control of your car, especially in emergency situations. Also compromised is the ability of your seatbelts and airbags to do their job effectively.
You go straight through. How was that position? Pretty good. Wow, I'm cramping. I don't know. Some of you, there was a little bit of an issue with the arms. If you have that 30-degree bend in your arms, by having your arms straight up on top, you actually are able to get that full 180-degree rotation without having to move your hands on the steering wheel at all, which in emergency situations, as well as controlling your vehicle properly, that is the correct way to be driving your vehicle.
So let's take a look then at the correct seating position. Now, not all vehicles have comprehensive seating and steering adjustments like you find in the Passat, but you will still be able to get yourself into the correct position. Key here is being able to get your wrist to the top of the wheel while keeping that 30-degree bend in the elbow. Take note too of the position of the hands on the wheel. Then adjust your mirrors. They are not there so you can check yourself out, but to remove blind spots. A quick glance at your mirrors should give you a clear picture of what is happening around you. Were you the type of ladies that got into a car and drove, and suddenly you're finding yourself considering a lot more after what you've been through today from a safety perspective?
Yeah.
Bit of an eye-opener?
I thought I was comfortable, and once I adjusted to what I was supposed to be doing, because I actually went and asked, what did I do wrong? Once I adjusted, I realized I had more control, which is what you want when you're driving.
Yeah, I mean, this week's safety lesson is exactly that. I mean, the basics of driving. Before you can even operate a car, let's make sure we seat it correctly. I mean, everyone's got the gangster pose because it's about looking cool. But I think you guys have realized now, being in the right position is not about only being comfortable in the car, but if something goes wrong.
And I think what we also saw today is that it's often, if you're a bit shorter, you need to adjust the car to work for you. Taller people fill that space quite easily, and they tend to be able to reach everything and have control over it. But just because a car is set up a certain way for averages doesn't mean that you need to fit into the average.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's why everything can adjust.
Can I safely say that the two of you are going to be a lot more conscious now in terms of your driving habits? We didn't even get to cell phones. That's coming on later. You don't use your phone when you drive, eh?
No, I have Bluetooth.
My husband actually bought me a clip that it clips into, so it sits on the dashboard, and the only time I'm allowed to operate it is when it's on speaker.
Look at the two of them. These are like the poster girls for road safety. Well done, I'm impressed. Well, let me tell you, when it comes to adrenaline rushes, few things can compare to presenting live television, something that for Julia Stuart and Elma Smit, it's a way of life. Are they going to have that same skill set, though, when it comes to the racetrack? We're going to find out after the break. Welcome back to Speed Stars. Now, as you've come to expect by now, it's not just our stars that win big, but also you, our viewers at home. Let's take a look at what is up for grabs this season. Head to our website, www.speedstars.co.za, predict the winner in this week's matchup, and you could win an advanced driving course valued at 3,000 Rand from Volkswagen Driving Academy. Another feature on Speed Stars that has become really popular with our viewers and, of course, our stars alike is our charity challenge. It always feels good to give something back. This week's charity challenge is not so much about speed, but more about precision. Chops and his team of Joey Rustine, Ryan Kankowski, Julia Stuart and Justin Cadilt are up against Mike and his team of Kwagga Smith, Elma Smit, Richelieu B and Danae van der Kerk. With two identical parking arenas set up, teams have an alley dock and parallel park to compete as quickly as possible in head-to-head matchups. Parking is something everyone hates, but a good indication of spatial awareness.
I can't see.
Don't worry, stop.
And with plenty of car guards on hand to help, how hard can it be? Joey has perfected the scare the car guard technique.
There you go, back in. You've gone the wrong way. Reverse back in. Go that way. Reverse.
While Elma, on the other hand, was a picture of control and precision.
What happened? I didn't know. Besides burning out the clutch, what happened? I've never seen someone so aggressive on a park. Joey, what happened?
Cricketer Dane van Niekerk certainly knows where her off stump is, making easy work of the parking challenge. But not very happy being narrowly pipped by Ryan, who seemed totally unfazed by it all. With the best car guards out there, surely Justin would blitz this parking challenge, but Richelieu had the last laugh.
I'm sorry, team! I'm sorry!
Well done. Nobody knocked over any cones, but it's the first time I've ever heard a GTR pop in reverse, thanks to Joey. But
I'll show you things.
you were the best car guards, but they were the best parkers. So well done to Mike and your team.
2,500 rand, Wilderness Foundation.
Beautiful.
It is an extremely dire situation right now. We're working alongside all the government agencies, South Africa being sort of the custodians of 90% of the world's rhino. We feel that we have a sort of a global responsibility to make sure the species survives.
That's 2,500 Rand donated by Goodyear to the Wilderness Foundation. Whether presenting on radio or live commentating at international sporting events or working as an MC at a prestigious event, our two ladies take this in their stride. So surely posting a fast lap time around Swartkops isn't going to pose too much of a problem, is it? Each of our celebrity guests receive expert advice and on-track training from the VW Driving Academy instructors in the Golf GTIs before switching to our race spec polos for their hot lap training with race aces Mike and Chops. Oh yes, they are back. Chops, of course, the man who changed the face of local motorsport, and Mike, the multiple production and touring car champion.
Brakes, yeah. Hard brakes. Harder. Wait, yeah. Turn it in now. That's it. Sharper. Brilliant. Out. Oh, you got it.
Remember, I need to hear from my lap.
Keep going. Now just hold it down inside. Hold it, stand down, hold it on the inside. Now move it up. And brakes again, yeah?
No, third.
How do I not yet? Because we're carrying enough speed. Just turn it in, back on the bar.
First time for both of you strapped in a car on track with an instructor telling you what to do.
It's very
Yeah.
intimidating.
Was it?
Yeah, I found it
what
very
freaked you out?
intimidating. I think it's all of the power and the
you think you were
allure
gonna
of it.
roll?
My problem is that I'm not naturally afraid, and my fight or flight reaction is always fight.
Yeah.
So as soon as something's scary, I
nice.
lean into it.
Yeah.
So I like in the back of my brain, there's a tiny little voice that goes, "You should be more careful."
But Julia, on the contrast, you started chatting with instructors. You started pretty cautiously,
Yeah.
but was soon up to pace. You really embraced that.
Because I'm that kind of person that I need to know what's coming, what's happening. So I need to first process it. And for me, it's not natural to go. I'm from Slapstad. It's not natural to drive fast. That was very strange. And then turn here, go easy, go there. What?
And your instinct tends to be wrong because you're used to driving on roads.
Yes.
The places where you brake and the places where you speed up are almost...
Yeah.
Interesting you say that, and I'm going to leave with this thought. Even though you're in a controlled environment, we're making you do things you probably wouldn't do on the road. Those skills that you're learning there, I promise you, are actually going to teach you the right instincts when you are on the road. You might feel like it's a bit of duck out of water scenario, but you'll see when you get into your performance hot lap and driving home from here afterwards, change your driving style. Talking about performance hot lap, that is what we're going to get into right now. Helmets on, you girls are going racing. Rivalry? Rugby soccer?
No, I don't think so.
Really? We're all about girl power.
Yeah,
You
as
know,
long
we're
as one of
different
us
teams.
just gets to the top of the
Yeah.
leaderboard.
Very, very nice. Well, let's see how Julia and Elma went in their 2-lap shootout. The challenge: 2 stars, 2 cars, 1 track in a head-to-head race around Swartkorps. Each with their own start and finish line. Whoever completes the 2 laps fastest wins.
This is my favorite bit. It's almost like when people put microphones in your dress, like right here. It's almost as invasive, but not quite.
Okay.
This is the most attractive look I've ever had.
Well, it's not looks that count now. Staying on the black stuff is what really matters. And we're off. It is game on. Elma looking really pleased with that start. Julia's face, a picture of, yes, I believe that's concentration. Elma looking unfazed, serene-like a regular drive down to the shops. Our polos are in no way standard. Stripped out, roll cages in, with a racing exhaust and suspension setup, they are true ready-to-race machines. Super engaging to drive, and after 1 lap, it looks like Elma may be the early front runner. Oh, I love it. The faces say it all. So did Julia put it in the back of the net, or was it Elma who secured the bonus point victory? Serious business when the clipboard comes out, because it's time to talk results. How did it go?
I think it went well.
Well, you
She
both
was so
here.
excited. She was so excited. I was so scared. So and then she just kept saying, "Put your foot down. Just put your foot down." That was really cute.
I
was
just
so
kept
scared.
telling her not to slack off. Don't slack off because you want to.
And that adrenaline rush afterwards. I mean, it's addictive, eh?
Yes.
I took another lap.
Of course you did. It was meant to be a cool down, but Julia was burning it through there. Okay, girl power. This was super, super close. 3 minutes 13:34 versus 3 minutes 14:05.
Wow.
What's the
So we're
difference there?
talking that's 0.6. Congratulations to Elma.
Yay!
Elma, a try and a conversion for you. Well done. That is flipping
I'm just glad I could
fantastic.
keep up with her. She was so fast the whole day.
No, but that was amazing. You were super, super close. I'm going to let you know your lap time because you won the race. We'll go with you first. You were close, but you're just behind Jason Goliath, a 1 minute 32.95. That is a good time.
I want to go again.
Remember that we've got the top 8 go through, so this is all still looking good. Julia,
Here we go again.
you were more consistent than Elma over both laps. That's why you were so flipping close.
Okay.
But the lap that counted for hers was actually quite a bit quicker than yours.
Okay.
A 1:34.19. That's not bad at all.
Get some slower people on.
Listen, we've got a lot of slow people coming, so don't you worry about that. Elma, congratulations. A little bit quicker than Julia on the lap time, and obviously winning the race. Julia, awesome. Well done. I'm hoping these times are going to see you make it through to our finals in November.
I'm going to be watching closely.
Yeah.
I'm going to come back here and practice in secret, like at night.
You can. I can arrange that for you. We'll set that up. Hey, the good news for you guys at home, one of you correctly predicted that Elma would be the winner of this head-to-head race. Let's have a look who our lucky winner was. Congratulations to this week's lucky winner. You have 3,000 Rand to spend on any Goodyear tyres fitted at your nearest Haiku centre. Well done. Well, time certainly flies when you're speeding around a racetrack. We've come to the end of this week's show. Big congratulations, of course, to Elma and to you, our lucky viewer at home, who won that awesome tyre voucher from Goodyear. You too can get in on the winning action. All you've got to do is head to our website and predict who you think is going to win in our next celebrity matchup next week. Speaking about next week, we're going to take a walk on the lighter side of life as 2 of SA's best-known comedians meet right here on the racetrack. Who's going to have the last laugh? Best you tune in. Until then, buckle up, check those mirrors, and keep it safe on our roads.
That's me. My name is Richel. I know. Colored guy, name on the brandy. I made it, that's all that counts. I didn't go into the bush.
Cover me. How can I cover you when you got my gun? My goodness. That was lekker. We are seriously going places.
I thought you just had a socks.